you know that the bank use your money to make more money? Did you know that? Today we are going to show you how you can leverage, how you can make profit day in and day out. Even the market goes up or down, you're still in profit. Today we are going to watch a quick webinar where you will learn how to leverage every single day with Forex. So let's go and follow me to the webinar. Let's go.
All right, perfect. Listen, I am fired up to have all of you here. My name's Josh Phelps. I will be hosting your call tonight and showing you what's going on in the Forex market and why we thought it was so important to host this workshop, okay? So if you've heard of Forex before, can you give me a 1 in the chat box just so I know? If you've never heard of Forex, this is your first time seeing, can you give me a 2 in the chat box? This is your first time seeing anything concerning Forex. Can you give me a 2 in the chat box so I know who the crowd is here tonight? Okay, I see a lot of people have seen what Forex is. There are some of you that have not. Okay, amazing, amazing. I'm glad that both are here. Okay, so for those who have seen what's going on with Forex, can you give me a 555 in the chat box if you've made money trading in the Forex market? Okay, 555 in the chat box if you have made money trading in the Forex market with our group, our paid to live family that we have here. Okay, so with that being said, look, I'm going to jump right off into this and we are going to jump into the charts. I am fired up about this tonight and I am looking forward to showing you guys how powerful Forex actually is. Okay, see, when it comes to the Forex market, I want to give you just a little bit of a breakdown before I really dive into this. What I'm showing you right now is a Forex chart. Okay, the red candles show that price is moving down. The green candles show that price is moving up. But before we get there, I really want you guys to just understand foundationally why Forex is so important. Okay, now, those of you who have never seen anything about Forex before, I want to give you a very simple breakdown. If you have money sitting in a bank, your money is already making money in this market. And what my goal is to do tonight is to show you how you deserve to be the person that's making money off of your money and how you also can simply be a part of a group that's going to show you and teach you from the very get-go how to be successful. Give me a 1 in the chat box if you agree that who you associate with and who you learn from is very important. Right? Learning stuff blindly is not the smartest way to go about things. Okay. So, the thing that I love about Forex is I've spent the last 8 years in the banking industry. And what I did not know for a long time is that my money was actually making money in this market without me being knowledgeable about it. And for me, I had a massive passion to, well, hey, if someone's going to make money off my money, I think it should be me. So my passion was, hey, I need to learn this skill set or my money is going to constantly be working for someone else. And I came to the conclusion of this. I've worked really, really hard in life to get where I am today. But what I know is that I don't want to spend my whole entire life having to work really, really hard to trade time for money. Can you give me a 2 in the chat box if you agree that there's more money in a day than time in a day? And when I realized that most situations were only paying based off time in a day rather than money in a day, I said, I need to look elsewhere. Being the national sales director of a $1 billion company, I was making really good money. But the reality of it was this: I had to work all day long and work my butt off constantly. And I knew that I'd be doing this for years. My brother, who's the CEO of the company, he's been doing this nonstop for 20 years of his life, all in, pushing as hard as he can, working in the banking industry. And I said, that's great, but I want to learn how to let my money work for me. And I actually discovered Forex in the banking industry, meeting with different CEOs in the banking industry and higher level people. I began to find out the banks are using our money to make money in this market on a daily basis. So I want to show you what we do from a foundational standpoint to help you become successful in the Forex market. The reason why I like these workshops so much is because you get interactive and really see what's going on. So I want to start here, okay? And I'm going to break down on a smaller time frame. When you see where this says 1 hour or 15 minutes, what that means is each candle represents 1 hour in the market and price moving during that time, right? So if I go down to the 15-minute, that's this candle broken down 4 and 4. Does that make sense? Right? 15 minutes 4 times equals 1 hour. Does that make sense? So what you want to do is I want to show you from a smaller time frame this trade that we got into that I called out this week for the team. Whoops. And we had over 100 pips of profit from it. Now, I want you to check this out right here. Let me pull it out a little bit. 1 second. This candle right here, we saw that the market was going bearish. Okay. So on this candle right here, this wick, this main candle, I want you to see, and that's why I got it on a 15-minute time. We entered our first position right here. So what that means is we saw, based off our analysis, based off the master traders, I called this trade out for the team. And I want you guys to see this. When we called out this trade, everyone got in their first entry point there. It pulled back just a little bit. I'm going to break down for you exactly what all this means. So just pay attention just for a second. So it pulled back 10 pips, and we saw that it was not breaking above this, and it gave us our confirmation that it's going to move to the downside. So we got in for a second position. Now, what I want you guys to understand is the way the Forex market moves is called pips. All right, that is how they measure the movement in the market. So this tool right here, if you were to look from our first entry point, right, to the first take profit called, that would be 36 pips. Okay, and you may be saying, what is a pip? If you do not know what a pip is right now, can you give me a 1 in the chat box? You have no idea what a pip is. Because I really need you guys to understand the very fundamentals and just foundation of this, okay? So let me give you a simple explanation. Pips is how they measure the market, okay? Now, if you were catching 100 pips, all right? Let's say that you're making $1 per pip, for example. Okay, $1 per pip. I want you guys to see this really quickly. You do not need a very big account to make $1 per pip. Now check this out. This trade actually hit our take profit 3, but we mainly got out at take profit 2 right here. Some people went ahead and wrote it on down. When it hit this level in the market and we saw that it was turning back up, all of us got out of the trade here. But I want you guys to see this. So we had 2 positions on it. So if someone could help me out in the chat box, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, imagine if you were a part of a community that sent you a message and they said, hey, this is exactly where you're going to get in the market. We gave you the exact entry point. And this trade moved down 70 pips. Can someone write 70 in the chat box for me? Okay. So from our first entry, it moved down 70 pips. All right. Now, listen, this is a live call from 2 days ago. Okay, so everything that I'm going to show you was from this week, and the one that I'm going to show you next was from today. Okay, so we have 70 in the first one. Then from the second entry down to take profit 2, we have 90 pips. So 70 plus 90, what does that equal? 70 plus 90, what does that equal? Someone fast in the chat box. 160. Thank you so much, Brian. Now, I want you guys to understand. Imagine getting on a call, right, with myself, the same way that you're on this trading workshop with me every single day. We actually host live sessions for our group that rocks with us and our trading community with Paid to Live. And check this out. Imagine at 160 pips, if you were making $1 per pip, how much money would you have made in one trade? One trade, guys. 160 pips at $1 a pip. That's 160 bucks. Now, let's say you are making $5 per pip. What would 160 pips be at $5? What does it take to make $5 per pip? Amazing question. So the way that we trade is based on lot size, okay? Lot size is very simple, okay? The smallest lot size that you can take is called a micro lot. Okay, I'm going to do a quick little class for you. Let me do this real quick. I'm going to jump over to my whiteboard, then we'll come over to the screen, okay? So, how do you make per pip? Very, very simple. It starts with lot size, okay? It all starts off with a micro lot of a 0.01. This is the smallest trade that you can take in the Forex market. And what that equals is 10 cents per pip. So if you were making 10 cents per pip, let's say you had a $100 account, just for simple example, okay? You had a $100 account and you grew in one trade, okay? You got a $100 account this trade, 160 pips in profit times 10 cents. So what is 160 times 10 cents? We're going to start from the basic and I'm going to raise it up. That's $16. So I want you guys to check this. Now, I do want to give this disclaimer before we move forward, okay, just for legal purposes. All right. Trading in the Forex market does involve risk, and past profits do not guarantee future gains. All right, we must give this disclaimer legally. I do want you to understand that. But outside of that, I need you guys to understand. If you had a $100 account and you grew at $16 in one day, what percentage of growth is that on your money? 160 pips, $16 out of 100. You grew that. So what is your percentage of growth? 16%. Now, the reason why I want to highlight this at the bottom, the smallest lot size you can take. Did you know your bank gives you no more than 2% per year? So what happened on this one trade? And 16% growth is not normal on a trade, okay? 1 to 3%, 4%, 5%, that can be more normal, okay? We can't guarantee any percentages. This is what happened in this trade, so we can talk about it. Now, the fact that our banks only pay us 2% per year, what was able to be accomplished with this one trade at the smallest lot size possible on this $100 account? It would take 8 years of sitting in a bank to what happened in one trade. Can you give me a 2 in the chat box if you agree you would rather get it in a day than 8 years? Imagine if you could make 2% a day. Now, again, nothing's guaranteed. I'm saying imagine for example purposes. Think about this for me. Think about this with me just for a second. How long would it take you to actually multiply your money in a bank? Well, you just don't, because what the banks do is they take your money and they multiply it. So what we want to show you how to do is do the same thing that the bank is doing. Now, let's go at a higher level, okay? So someone asked, how do you make $5 per pip? And I want to tell you, very, very simple. This right here is a half a standard lot size, okay? A 0.50. All right, what this means is you are risking $5 per pip. So if you were, and let me say this, to trade a half a standard, you need to have at least $1,000 account to trade at that level with proper risk management, okay? You do not want to put your account in a place of jeopardy, okay? We're very big on risk management, okay? Every trade that's taken is calculated, all right? So this isn't gambling. This isn't just hoping and wishing. It is calculated. I am willing to lose this to gain this. Does that make sense to you? So let's say with this trade that we called out with the stop loss, you know, we had like a 20 pip stop loss on it, okay, on GBP JPY. So with that being said, and I hope this isn't going over your head right now, I want you guys to pay attention and understand this. But what we were saying is we were willing to lose, let's say on a $100 account, I was willing to lose $2 to make $16. Who agrees that you would be willing to potentially lose $2 to make $16? And I'm doing this on a small level right now because I want you to understand from a percentage wise. Because once you get to a half a standard lot size, and I trade a much higher lot size than this on average, I will say that, a lot higher than this actually. You can grow as you grow. I've been trading for 4 years now, you know, but at a half a standard, what this means is at 160 pips, right? Oops, sorry. 160 pips of profit, I was willing, and I want you to complete this sentence, I was willing to lose at a 20 pip stop loss. Okay, so 20 times $5 would be $100. I was willing to lose $100. Can someone tell me what 160 times 5 is? In the chat box, 160 times 5. Dude, Brian, you are a brilliant man. Anybody want to check him on that? 800? That's correct. So I was willing to lose $100 to gain $800. Give me a yes in the chat box if that makes sense to you. A 1-to-8 ratio, which means you would have to lose 8 trades, potentially to this one, on a break-even situation. Now, this is what trading is all about. A lot of people are not really trading. I am an investor. I'm invested in the stock market, the cryptocurrency market, Forex market, traditional businesses. I invest, right? I believe in investing in money. I don't believe trading time for money. Okay. So I want to teach you how instead of trading time, I am invested in a decent level, Eric, in that as well. And massively about to grow my portfolio in real estate and excited about that. I'm waiting for the market to crash, but that's another conversation. Now, 160 pips in profit. I want you to look at this. Does this make sense? I would say absolutely. So let's jump back over to the chart for a second because I wanted you guys to understand this. Let's say, and this is really, really easy to put, one standard. That's a 1.0. Okay. What this means is this is where you can gain $10 per pip or lose $10 per pip. Okay. So now let me put it in the same terms. For this 160 pip trade, I was willing to lose at $1 per pip, $200 to gain $1,600. If you had an account of 2,000 plus, let's say you had 2,000, $4,000, would you be willing to take a chance on losing potentially 200 in order to make 1,600? Yes or no? See, this to me, guys, is why Forex makes sense. This to me is why multiplying money makes sense. Where can I sit in my house on a chart that I just showed you? You may not know how to read that yet, but we do. And what we're going to do is give you the points of where to get in. Okay. So now check this out. We got in on this trade right here, right? Oops. We got in on this trade. At that point, it moved 160 pips. Okay. We got out. It continued to move down to TP3, but I'm not going to calculate that because we got out, right? I'm very honest and real with the numbers that we do. Now, this morning, if you caught this trade on gold, give me a 777 in the chat box. So this morning, we were looking at the market. Pull out a little bit. We were looking at the market. Right. I want you guys to see this. This right here, we were looking for a buy here. But we noticed that it didn't give us our confirmation yet for what we needed, and it pushed down. So we waited to get into the trade. Look, Luis said he profited 200. Hey, can you put that to the entire group? So Luis on this call right now, this morning, profited $200 from this one trade that you're about to see. Now, I want you guys to see this. This right here is our entry point. I see the market test down. You see I have this line for support. What support means in the market is the same way of you walking on your floor, right? Who agrees that you cannot fall through your floor by just walking on it? You have to break through it. Does that make sense? Give me a 1 in the chat box if that makes sense. If you're walking on your floor, it should hold you up. That is called support. Now, when it comes to resistance, resistance is literally like a ceiling. It's the top. If you had a ping pong ball, you could bounce it up and down. I like to picture it like that, right? Up, resistance, boom, support, right? And there was also some support right here. Okay, now check this out. It's back in our zone, which is going to be a good trading week next week. If you guys are not with us on the trading team, you need to be after this workshop, okay? But I want to show you what we did this morning in a matter of 15 minutes, 30 minutes, about 35, 40 minutes. So here's my question to you guys. I want you to write 40 minutes in the chat box. 40 minutes in the chat box. Do that for me right now. 40 minutes. I need you to write that. And this is why I want you to write that. How much right now are you making for 40 minutes of your time at the job you work, etc.? Listen, I am a breakout trader. I look for the markets to give big impulse moves. I catch them once they confirm the move, and I get out of the trade. How much do you make at your job for 40 minutes? All right, I'll take it a step further and give your job a little bit of leniency. How much do you make in an hour working at your job? Please let me know in the chat box. No shame, no, maybe a little pain, but let me know in the chat box. $15 an hour, $20 an hour, Somebody said $71 an hour. That's a really good job for jobs. $18 an hour, 20 bucks an hour. Okay, now I want you to look at this. $20 an hour sounds great until you realize that you don't have to work the entire day to make a day's wage, right? I traded this morning for about an hour and I was done for the day. And I made more money in a day than most people make working in a week. Now, check this out. One trade, 100 pips. Look at this. We got in. We got our confirmation. You see, I circled it. I saw this is landing on our support and it closed. Look at this. I'm going to move this yellow down just a little bit for a second so you can see this. Whoops, let me take that off. So price closed right where I wanted it. At that point, I got my buy confirmation. I'll teach you more about this when you're in the group. I got my buy confirmation. It hit support. And at that point, we entered the trade. In 40 minutes, the trade hit for 100 pips. And I want you to see this. I'm going to pull out really quickly on a longer time frame, and I want you to see. Notice where the take profit of 100 pips is. I told everybody to get out right away. Someone said, can you please explain how you determine the entry? I'll teach more about that on the team groups, okay? Check this out. It said this trade made my day thanks to the Epic Master Traders. Let's go. All right, check this out. You see where we got out right here at 100 pips. And I want to show you why I chose that 100 pip target. Look over here to the left, okay? And I'm going to circle this so you guys can see. Do you see how price here, while it did wick here, this right here is a wick, okay? The long part of it or the short part of it, that's the wick. The actual body where it's full is the body of the candle, okay? So this right here, this is a wick. This right here, this is the body. This is the wick, this is the body. Do you guys understand that? Okay, and guys, make sure you have your messages sent to all panelists and attendees so everyone can see as well. I'm getting a lot of great comments coming in. But check this out. So we got our entry. We looked over here and I saw that the bodies of this candle, check this out, did not break above this zone. Check this out. Now I'm going to change this to a different color so it stands out. Okay, I want you to see this. Look over here to the left. We see that price did not break above this level. So what I know about this is the market, it repeats itself. Okay, now check this out. The reason why we got out here is because I was not convinced, based off what the market has already done, because history repeats itself. The market constantly, guys, bounces back and forth, right? Check this out. Support, resistance. Look at this. Support, resistance. Do you guys see how it's literally bouncing back and forth? Give me a 1 in the chat box if you can see this with your eyes and that makes sense. Support, resistance. Now, what we're going to teach you how to do before you learn these, guess what? Not one person that made money on these trades this morning actually had to call this trade out for themselves. It's right back in our buy zone. We're going to hammer this trade next week. This trade's going to pay us a whole bunch because I think it's going to move up a lot higher now, but I'm waiting for my confirmations. Okay, now check this out. We see because it didn't get out here, look at this where we got out. Our 100 pip TP hit right here. And the market literally moved up another 2 or 3 pips from my TP and then turned around. Are you guys hearing me? We literally look at the precision here. This trade had 0 drawdown and hit precisely where I knew it was going to hit based off where the market did. Now, could it have broken through and gone up? Yep, that's why I put another potential zone here, right? Because this is where it's breaking above that zone, right? So at that point, where would be, this would then become the new support. Does that make sense, right? So if it closed above this zone, this would now become the new support. And at that point, we're looking for it to make a new zone here. So this would be the support. We look for it to bounce in this zone now, just like you're seeing over here to the left, right? This is support, there's resistance, right? Boom, down, but it breaks through here. So now this is the new support. So the thing that's really simple about trading, guys, is you don't have to be the smartest person in the world. Okay, you don't have to know everything, but what you do have the ability to do is follow people that are really educated and really good at this. Okay, and make a lot of money doing this. The people that you're seeing on this call right now that are trading with us, this is what we do. I've not worked a job in 4 years. I have a beautiful little girl, right? Beautiful family and Queen. Like, our life is beautiful. My Queen has an autoimmune disorder, and my little girl's 2.5. You know that that was the reason that I started learning how to trade Forex. I want you guys to hear me. The reason why I began to trade Forex is because I have a family and I did not want to spend the rest of my life working a job. I just didn't. Making six figures, multiple six figures is great. But if you have to give away all of your time to get it, it's not that great. Because what is the biggest commodity that we have in life? Time freedom. Patrick, you said it perfectly. Time freedom. That is what the goal in life is. How do we get to a place, and this is why our movement is called Paid to Live. How do we get to a place where we can actually be, oops, one second, or we can actually be paid to live instead of work to live, right? Which one sounds more appealing to you? Can you please write it in the chat box? If you got to choose and design your life today, would you rather be paid to live and do what you enjoy doing, or work to live the rest of your life and have a small amount of time to do what you want to do? Okay, this is the heartbeat and foundation of what Paid to Live is all about. I believe as human beings that we were created to enjoy life, and we have been robbed of that because we've grown up in a society that has taught us that no, you go to work for someone, you make them money. You make your money, and then at that point you get up and you do it again for 60 plus years of your life. By the time you turn 65, back in the day they had retirement. Now most companies aren't even doing that. Do you understand this? And I'm going to kind of move forward after we get to this point. Do you realize that the age that was set for you to be retired, when this was set decades ago, back in the 40s and 50s and 60s, when this was set and designed, the average life and expectancy of life was underneath the retirement age? Can you give me a 777 in the chat box if that is not absolutely appalling? When the retirement age was created, the average life expectancy was less than that. Why? The very design of corporate America is to only make the people at the top rich. And I'm going to tell you why I can say that, because my family has become very wealthy in corporate America because they're sitting at the top and they own the companies. But for me, I was in a situation where I did not have a desire, and this is nothing against people in corporate America. I want to make this clear. You're an entrepreneur, you go out there and get your money and people are willing to work for you, by all means go and get it. But what I refuse to do as a human being is to spend the rest of my life getting rich as all get outs and no one else around me is successful other than a few people. If you have a desire to change the world, can I just see a yes in the chat box? I spent really my whole life essentially in ministry. My grandfather's been a pastor for 40 years. My dad's been an evangelist for 40 years, and preacher and stuff for 40 plus years, right? My mom was a worship leader. So I was born into the church. My Aunt Jackie's actually on this call right now, and she knows this to be very, very true. We've grown up in this. So I came from a ministry home and a banking home. So I have a different perspective on money than most. I believe that you're not able to live with peace if you don't have financial freedom. One of the main things that stresses people out is money, personally and also in relationships. The number one reason for divorces, financial problems. Think about that. They say money doesn't solve everything, but I would like to suggest that it solves a lot, especially when you know what to do with it. Okay? So what we're going to teach you how to do in this group is get to a place where you can live how you want to live. Write this down. I design my life. Write that in the chat box for me. I design my life. Maybe this for you is a new concept. But the thing that I love about Forex is regardless of which way the market goes, we make money. Okay, I'm going to pull up another pair that all of you watched go to hell in 2020. All right, this is US 30. This is the Dow Jones. Okay? I want you guys to see this. This right here was the start of the pandemic. I need you guys to pay attention. This right here was the start of the pandemic. You know how I know? Because I caught that short and we were on this for a while. We did not expect it to go down here. I knew it would come back to this zone because it's where the last support was. That's why I got my zones drawn there. Okay? This was the start of the pandemic. Who agreed that in 2020 you did not expect this year to look the way that it looked? Can I get a 1 in the chat box? If 2020 was an absolute shocker, can I get a 1 in the chat box? How many of you were laid off from your jobs or had a really rough year because of this pandemic? I want you to understand something. As the economy is falling drastically, I mean, going to hell. Let's start with week 1 of the pandemic. Here we are, week 1. Imagine sitting at home and lockdown begins and you caught 4,000 pips because you knew what was going on in the market because we saw market structure and we were paying attention to the economy. When everything started to break out, we saw this gap here and it started moving. We jumped in on a sell like crazy. Now here's the reality. We're at about the same point. Price is either going to break above because it already has, it created a new high, but more than likely price is going to come back down here before it pushes major. That again is almost 4,000 pips, guys. So my question is this. Do you want to be the person that's watching the economy, not profiting from it, potentially losing massively from it, or do you want to be the person that's actually winning when the economy is going down? This is what I know, guys, and this is why Forex makes sense to me beyond anything. Regardless of which way the market goes, up or down, right? You can make money on both. They showed this on every news station, and 99% of people had no idea that they could be profiting off of it the entire time this is going down and the entire time this is going up. Imagine if you had got in. Now, I didn't catch this position fully. I caught it on and off, but imagine if you would have got in and you rode it back up to where it was. Guys, that's 10,000 pips. Now, I would say most of you would never hold this trade that long. And I do want to make this clear that I'm not suggesting. This was 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, 11 weeks, 12 weeks. Let's just get to there. This right here is the move from the pandemic. Let's say that's April. This is the candlestick of April at the low. Okay, from April, May, June, July. Going into July, price moved back up 9,000 pips. What I know is this. I do not know, and I want to write this out. I do not know what's going to happen in the economy. What I do know is regardless of what happens, I can grow my money every day. Right? It does not matter which way the market goes. All that's important is that you can make money every day in this market. So this is what I want to encourage you to do right now. We have an academy where we teach you how to trade in this market from A to Z. We have live sessions, the same way that you're here with me live today. You can also be live with me on now a daily basis where we're giving you the same trades that we're taking. Give me a 777 in the chat box if you see how valuable that is. Giving you saw here, 100 pips in 45 minutes. 100 pips the day before. Actually, 200 pips the day before. This is crazy. We caught the sell right here. This right here was my entry. We caught the sell down. We caught the sell down. We caught the buy up. So what we're going to do is literally give you the trades that we're taking. So you get live sessions with us. You also get to copy and paste the trades that we're taking. Learn the skill in the chat box for me really quickly. I talk about copying and pasting. I talk about following masters. But then the next step, once you begin to really learn the skill set, team, For all of you watching with me right now, once you really begin to learn this, you'll really understand how powerful it is when, regardless of where the economy goes, you can make money and you can learn a skill set that will pay you for the rest of your life. The only way that Forex will cease to exist is if there is a globalization of one currency. And here's the crazy part. Even when that comes, we can still trade that currency. Not to mention, we trade cryptocurrency. Let me go back real quick. I want you guys to see this. Who's enjoying this right now? I want to know. Who is having a good time tonight, enjoying this workshop? Let me pull this up for you. This is what we do on a daily basis, guys. This really is our life. It's pretty crazy. All right, just a second. Let me pull this up. Okay. Who's ever heard of Bitcoin? I want you to write Bitcoin in the chat box if you have heard of Bitcoin. Ooh, wait for that baby to come down too before it takes back off. Right. Now I want you guys to see this. Bitcoin is now the 13th largest currency in the world. Yes, Bitcoin. A cryptocurrency, things that people doubted in 2012, is now the 13th largest currency in the entire world at this point and rising. All right. What I love about Bitcoin is this. A lot of people said it wasn't legit. Guess what? Now they're investing in it today. Okay. We called out recently a sell on Bitcoin. Not that one. We called out a sell at Bitcoin at 19.75. We just crushed this entry point. And I actually want to give a shout out to one of my other educators, Curtis Nickerson. He is actually the one that called it. We have crypto specialists, we have Forex specialists, and masters. But we called out this trade here and we wrote it down to 1900. Okay, or 1890. 1 second. We wrote it to right here. Okay, so we caught this position, right? There was a little bit of drawdown right out the gate on this one wick up. Little drawdown, but at that point, I want you guys to see this. This move that we caught from here to here. Can someone tell me how many pips that is? 713 pips. If you are making $1 per pip, how much would you have made on that move? This is the reality, guys. It doesn't matter. We can trade it. What are things that you've heard of? You've heard of silver, right? You know, they talk about silver. Here it is. We trade it. Ups and downs. It does not matter which way it goes. The US dollar versus, or let's say the euro versus the US dollar. Look, we trade it. We trade it, baby. And we make money all day long with it. So would anybody guess what I'll be looking for next week with Euro USD? Just here on the 4-hour? Can anyone guess what I'm going to be looking for next week for Euro USD? I'm going to draw something for you really quickly, and I want you guys to tell me what it is. Because I want you guys to see how simple this is. There's other strategies that will teach you. Who would say that that's fair to say that that is the resistance based off where market is? Every time it hit that, it did what? It bounced off. You hearing me? Give me a 1 in the chat box if you agree with me that it's fair to say that this is resistance. Now, this right here is the current real support. Right? Price hit here, bounced off, came back down. Price goes back up, hits the ceiling, bounces back down. Price goes here. What's it doing next? Hitting here. So what we're looking for, I told you guys I'm a breakout trader. I would take that position here because I'm still looking for that nice drop, right? Just from the top zone down to the next zone is 50 pips. Really 70, 80 pips when you get to the floor. But what I'm looking for is this week that it could break through here. And if it does break through here, let me go in on the daily chart. I want you guys to see this. If it does break through here, The next level of support is, now who sees this? Listen, this isn't science. This is literally looking at a chart and seeing where it's bouncing. You do not have to be brilliant to do this. If you pass third grade math, you can do this. You can draw a rectangle around a zone that's bouncing. So at this point, if it breaks through this zone right here, I want you guys to see what we're looking for. It breaks through here. When it breaks through, we're going to look for a quick retest because that's usually what the market does. Then at that point, from that zone down to the next floor, that's 139 pips. Are you guys hearing me? 139 pips. So let me ask you this question. If I called out this trade and you caught 139 pips, what does that mean you made? Potentially $1? Potentially $5? Potentially $10? And there's no limit of what you can actually do. That's why this is crazy. Let's say that you had a $100 account. I want you guys to hear me. You have a $100 account, and you can only afford right now to take a 0.01 to 0.02. What this means is you can only afford to risk 10 cents to 20 cents per pip. Now, I want you guys to do some simple math with me. If you have a $100 account, and this is what I love, you do not have to have a lot of money to trade Forex. You just got to get in and start multiplying it. $50 multiplied is a lot better than $50 spent and gone. Who agrees with that? Now check this out. 139 pips. If you are making 10 cents per pip, I'm going to put PP per pip. Now you guys understand, you're getting the lingo. At that point, guys, that's $13.90. That's 13% growth on an account. At a 0.01. Are you hearing me? This is how powerful this is. So what I want you guys to do, it's Friday night. I know it's getting kind of late. Whoever invited you to this workshop, I want you to get back with them and say, look, plug me into the team. I'm all in. And what I ask from you is to literally, for the next 60 to 90 days, to be plugged in to us fully and trade with us. And I'm convinced fully that there is no reason, and I cannot guarantee this legally, but what I can say this is the probability of you staying a part of this team and growing your money every day is ridiculously higher than the probability of you losing and leaving. No one stays where they're losing money, but everybody wants to be a part of a team where they're winning. Right now, I have 18,000 students. I need you guys to hear me. Right now, I have 18,000 students. Who agrees this many people would not be paying if they were not making money? Can we just be fair to say that just for a second? From over 100 plus countries, people that could barely pay rent to people that are millionaires. Now imagine that you have the ability to get started today for $99.99. For less than 3 figures, look what you can make daily, potentially, on higher lot sizes. You caught 139 pips at $10 a pip, that's $1,300 bucks. Catch it at $5 a pip, look at that, over $800 bucks, or like 750, I believe. Think about this, team. Who agrees that this makes sense? Yes, in the chat box. Forex makes sense. There are people that have not taught this skill set to people the way that they deserve to be taught. The statistics are this, and I want you guys to understand this. This is the statistics. 96% of people lose. 96% of people that come into this market lose for several reasons, and I would like to tell you why. Number one, they are not mentored and being taught by the right person. Give me a 1 in the chat box if you agree that that is very important. You want to learn from people that are making the money that you desire to make. Number 2, people do not put enough time in it. People will spend 4 years in a college to get a degree, right? The same amount of time most people go to a 4-year college, I've spent 4 years trading. And the debt that you would occur in college, I make more than that in several months, sometimes less. Think about that. Would you rather spend your life learning a skill set that can make you rich, spend a year? It will not take that long because you get to copy people. But for you to really learn this skill set where you can do what I'm doing right now and just call out these trades and win on 80 to 90%. At that point, you guys get to understand you can really be free. You can really enjoy your life. Look right here. We have support. Look how clear this is. Like, it really doesn't get much more clear to me than this, right? It's creating support here. So at this point, when it gets back in the zone, what do? You look left and you see that the market stayed here last time. So if I saw that it gave me this wick down and it closed above this zone, I would be willing to take this buy. Okay, this was the trade. It closed above. At this point, I would take this buy about here, and I would give a nice little stop loss to give it room to grow. Then at that point, look at this trade right here, guys. It literally showed you what it was going to do. This right here is like a W. You guys can't tell me you can't see this. W's and M's. When you see a W, it's going up. When you see an M, it's going down. It's crazy how easy this is. People just don't know, and they're not patient enough to make money. Look at this. It goes down. At that point, we get in the trade. I'm going to say here, to be fair, because that's where it closed, right? Went into some drawdown, and at that point, the market moved up 400 pips. Most of us would have got out here because this is the next line. We do not know, listen here, and I want you guys to understand, we do not know if price is going to break above this or not. There's a chance that it could break right above it, and there's a chance that it could stay, and bounce back to this support level. But once it broke through, we had our confirmation of a buy. At that point, what did we do? Can someone tell me what you think we did once we got it to close above the last zone? What do you think we did? Let me know in the chat box. I'm looking. What did we do? When it broke above this zone, what did we do? We re-entered. Absolutely. We re-entered for a what type of position? Let me know in the chat box, guys. What type of position did we get into? A buy. Thank you so much, Keith. Now look at this. Closes above, right? It breaks out another 170 pips. Look at this. This is absolutely amazing what you can do when you're just willing to be patient. We're not trading all day long. The difference between your job and trading is you don't have to spend the whole day doing it. You spend an hour a day. 1 hour a day, I like to say, keeps the job away. And here's the reality. Most of you and most of the people on the team, they did not start off being able to walk away from their job day one. But I'll tell you that I have pissed off a lot of employers because of how many people I've been able to help quit their jobs. There's a lot of employers that know my name, not because I applied for a job, but because people that are working with me quit their jobs. I have videos of people walking in, handing in their resignation letter saying, thank you for the job, but my time is worth so much more than this now, and I'm finally getting it. Write this in the chat box, and this is how we're going to end it. We've been here almost an hour. I want you to write this down. You do not get what you want. You get what you demand by working for it. All right? And this is the reality. You do not get in life what you want. You get what you demand by working for it. It's very important to understand that Forex will absolutely put you in a situation where you can live however you desire to live. If you go look at my Facebook, Instagram, we're all over the place. Even during the pandemic, we've been really safe, but we're all over the place. Why? We can make money from anywhere. Doesn't matter what's going on in the world. It doesn't matter where we are in the world. All that matters is that we have a cell phone or a computer that we can make money. So I want to thank all of you for joining this Paid to Live free trading workshop. I massively pray that you got value out of this. And I also hope that you won't just watch this, but you'll get plugged in. You'll learn with us. You'll grow with us. And let's make 2021 absolutely amazing. Okay? So if you enjoy this, you learned something, let me know, please. I would love to know in the chat box. And those of you who were invited to watch this from someone else, or if I reached out to you and invited you, listen, you want to get back with that person now, reach out to myself if I invited you, and let's grow as a family. Write family in the chat box. I know most families don't make money together, but I'm going to let you know that this family does. Okay. And if you're not surrounded by people that are making money with you, that are not elevating you, that are not teaching you how to become wealthy, you need to change your circle. Okay. So have a great Friday night. I appreciate you all so much. I love you all, and I'm really excited to be working with you and help you have an amazing 2021. All you have to do is get plugged in, follow what we do, and we will help you trade your way to freedom. All right. Talk to you all soon. Have a great night. We'll be back very soon. Much love, guys.